How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Not every NBA star player was always disliked. Many of the most hated guys today were actually some of the most beloved and cherished. Many fans didn't have a single bad thing to say about them. But after a couple seasons in, with their extensions of max contracts, bad playoff performances, free agency, and questionable decision making on the court, those are just some of the few qualities that make many fan bases turn on an NBA star overnight, leaving many frustrated and angry about the star that was once loved by everybody. Nobody's ever perfect. Even the greatest of the best still gets a lot of hate years after they retire. With that said, we'll talk about every active NBA star player and former star player at the twilight of their career, some of them, and some at the moment, and what are the reasons why they're extremely disliked. Starting with LeBron James, who always had his critics, from early teammates questioning his ability out of high school to labeling himself the chosen one. 18 years after his debut, James's career by far exceeded all expectations and more. Will always be amongst the all-time greats. Even during his early Cleveland days, a beloved rookie, lived up to the hype, helped his Cavs improve, finally made the playoffs year 3, arguably became a top 3 player by age 21, earned all the praise in the world, leading Cleveland to the finals in year 4 for winning back-to-back MVPs. Approaching free agency, they were already chatters before the end of the 2010 playoffs whether James would decide to stay with Cleveland. Started getting bashed for the poor performance versus Boston, combined with having some family off-court distractions surrounding one of his teammates. Lost 3 straight to the C's from having multiple bad games. Truly the first time James been heavily criticized for his play. Weeks later, became the biggest villain in the league by taking his talents to South Beach. The hate from late 2010 to all of 2011, that version of LeBron might have been the most hated superstar during any time of the NBA's existence, due to forming a super team with 2 others still in their 20s, 4 titles and 2 more MVPs later. James still very hated due to the amount of attention he generates. The talent very respected, but the social media obsession, multiple networks posting every LeBron moment, not even relating to basketball at times, his opinion on politics, and trying to make everything about LeBron, taking away the moment from others, a huge reason for the dislike. Kevin Durant, former OKC fan favorite, the franchise player from the start, after becoming the youngest scoring champ at 21, led his team to the finals at 23. It was shocking if Durant was to never take the franchise back to the finals again, but after OKC didn't want to pay the rising James Harden, along with teammate Westbrook taking shots away from the best pure scorer in the game, Durant's low point blowing the 3-1 lead to Golden State, Game 6 in OKC, 10 of 31 game, many began to question whether KD and Russ can ever coexist. The answer was given when Durant shocked the world by taking his talents to the 73-win Warriors, joining the team that defeated him in the first place. Hated so much to the point still many refused to accept his 2 championships. Despite dominating in the finals, competition wasn't fair in 2017, arguably forming the most unstoppable team to ever exist in a season. Even the games he dominated, Durant doesn't get fully appreciated, but after how well he played with Brooklyn, having 2 of his stars injured and dominating, Durant absolutely more respected now, and some have changed their perceptions and fully admit he's one of the top 15 players at the very minimum and might creep up into the top 10 with another title. Stephen Curry, not really hated, one of the most liked players, the man who revolutionized the 3-ball, went from slept on, blossoming to a superstar. The little bit of the hate started when he did not win Finals MVP, but Steph silenced all his doubters, having a historic MVP season. Many then believed would Curry actually go down as a top 5 player all time. The hype was real, but after a poor 2016 Finals, a down series, being heavily outplayed by James and Irving, not getting the job done, Steph received plenty of criticism, continued to receive backlash after Durant joined it due to KD winning those 2 Finals MVPs, despite Curry having way more great games than bad ones. Those really bad games truly stood out in causing his chances in winning a Finals MVP. James Harden, the 6th man for OKC, the Beard never had much pressure with the Thunder. Nobody had any idea he'd become a superstar. First season with Houston, a success, led the franchise back to the playoffs. Harden didn't get much hate till after the arrival of Dwight Howard, who we'll get to in a little bit. After the Beard came in 2nd for MVP voting 2015, got to the conference finals, many questioned his postseason performance, not being mainly responsible for the Game 6 Josh Smith comeback, while 2016, first time Harden received plenty of backlash. Former teammate Smith believed McHale not subbing in Harden, tensions flared, led to McHale's firing after a 4-7 start. teammate Dwight banged up, Harden came into the season out of shape.
James had sprained his ankle in the summer. Harden came in overweight, and we just weren't playing very well.
At the time, the locker room became so hostile, new teammates had to choose a side between Howard and Harden's, two conflicting with another. At the time, the NBA became much more perimeter oriented, post play dying down, team finished 500, good enough for the 8th seed. Harden became so hated, despite averaging 29, 6 and 7. It's an absolute travesty. Harden was left off the All-NBA teams because of the negative headlines, the worst nub of all time. It's one thing to dislike a player, but to not even vote for Harden after being second in MVP. The season before, DeAndre freaking Jordan made first team All-NBA that season, and Harden didn't make any All-NBA team. I will never get over how ridiculous that is. It's an absolute double travesty, to say the least. Harden began to flourish under D'Antoni, hated for his lack of playoff performance, got smoked by 39 to San Antonio, a 10.2 of 10 shooting, went to the strip club afterwards, rubbed many the wrong way, combined with his play style, drawing fouls, not the prettiest game, but effective, even got more hated, forcing his way out of Houston, but now has a chance to silence the doubters if he's able to win a ring with Brooklyn. Russell Westbrook, the uncontrollable emotions, Russ's energy, a gift and a curse, always received hate even in his early days. Teammate KD literally unstoppable. Westbrook's volume of shots took some of Durant shots away. I can guarantee you guys will be seeing this video a lot more in the coming months.
I was very disappointed in Russell Westbrook. That was the worst point guard in a championship finals I've ever seen. He was too wild. He was taking off-balance shots. You gotta come out and set the tone with Kevin Durant. See what type of defense Miami was gonna play against him, JB. Then you can always get off, Russell. Russell Westbrook's gotta set the tone with Kevin Durant.
Game 2 of the finals, Russ didn't give the ball to KD enough, attempted 16 more shots in those finals than Durant. While his best player averaged over 30 on 55% shooting, Russ continued to make the same mistakes throughout his career. Reckless Game 6 versus Golden State, wasn't good in Game 7. After KD left, Russ became beloved, averaged the triple-double, winning MVP, but hated because of the stat padding, purposely grabbing rebounds off missed free throws. Never have another player became so obsessed with stats chasing to that extent. Melo and PG teamed up with him, no playoff success. From getting his feelings hurt by Ricky Rubio to chest pumping early Game 4 versus Portland and losing in 5, played poorly, nearly causing Houston a first-round exit to OKC in 2020. His Wizards nearly swept by Philly, to recently getting his feelings hurt again by 21-year-old Darius Bazley stealing the ball and dunking. So-called unwritten rules took out his frustrations on a kid after blowing a 26-point lead and 10 turnovers. Perhaps he wanted people to forget about his poor play to creating another headline. For a bad team to finally win their first game of the season and maybe win 22 games if lucky, the young guys have all the right to celebrate. If Russ Westbrook gets triggered by guys like Bazley, Rubio, Klay Thompson, multiple fans in the stands, plenty of future frustration awakes. Chris Paul wasn't hated in New Orleans, wasn't until the Clipper days. Did his flop antics, sneakiness, too demanding for some, along with the lack of playoff success with the Clippers and acting like he's already been a champion, combined with the State Farm commercials. CP3 always had the personality of a Jordan and Kobe, craving perfection from everybody, often criticized for the playoff exits, from getting ejected 2013, losing 4 straight to Memphis, blowing leads, gave him the choke label as a playoff performer. His worst moment, blowing a double-digit lead in the 4th, up 7 with 49 seconds, 2014 versus OKC, from fouling Westbrook on a 3 to coughing up a late possession, received tons of blame. The CP3 hate continues after more playoff blown leads in 2015, was considered an afterthought in the point guard position when Curry emerged, but his attitude and personality always been polarizing. Kawhi Leonard, nobody said a bad word about Kawhi until the 2018 season with his knee injury, the time off, the miscommunication between San Antonio doctors and Leonard keeping his status private, played just 10 games. Many claim whether he was truly injured, his teammates had enough of his quietness, hard to get a good read on what he was thinking, accused of faking the injury to get his way out of San Antonio. Even Spurs fans turned on him. Everybody became too anxious during the 2019 free agency, seeing where Kawhi was gonna go, took his time. A lot of fake sources exposed his privacy and people guessing what his situation. Some just can't handle that. Anthony Davis hasn't been hated till late 2018 and early 2019 after demanding a trade to the Lakers since he signed with Rich Paul. Always a slept-on superstar but lacked playoff success. The way how it went down sabotaged his season, became a villain, praised and overrated after the 2020 title when ESPN ranked him number 2. Frustrated Laker fans can't stand him agonizing in pain every other game, question his work ethic in the weight room, whether he puts in enough time to get his body stronger, and not try to show too much pain after getting touched. Kyrie Irving, one of the most hated players by far, questionable attitude, roller coaster emotions, you simply don't know what comes next, one distraction to the next, last 4 years just never stops. Beloved after the 2016 finals and still looking strong in 2017 after falling to Golden State. Many did not foresee Irving demanding a trade request July 7th. Irving simply did not like playing with James, didn't get moved till late August, became a villain, hurt and limited to 60 games, the team a game short of the finals without him, didn't mesh, awful chemistry, everybody sensed he wasn't happy in Beantown, never truly committed, was worse when he played, led to a toxic environment, combined with the missed games in Brooklyn. It's always one thing after another. Nothing about Irving should shock anybody at this point. While Jokic, Embiid and Lillard not really hated by many, Joel only gets hate from the Ben Simmons fans. While 2021 wasn't the first real time Simmons got hated, started all the way back in college at LSU when he basically quit end of the season, team refused to play in the NIT, had a brashy attitude, exposed the first time in the 2018 Celtics series after a pathetic 1-point game 2. One would think that series would be a learning lesson for Ben, but still doesn't put in the work with all that talent, resulting in the Hawks series meltdown, leading to the weak attitude. 5 years ago, many truly thought Simmons would be Magic Johnson 2.0. He's more like Tragic Bronson 2.0. His attitude, an absolute travesty to say the least. Paul George, a breakout star during the 2013 playoffs, couple off-court stuff triggered a few, wasn't much hated, but after that gruesome leg injury, first couple seasons, very quiet, but after saying he was interested in playing for the Lakers and didn't commit, traded to OKC, played terrible 2018 playoffs, after agreeing to sign an extension with the Thunder and celebrating, to trade it to the Clippers a year later, angered 3 fan bases. Thunder fans see it as George lying to them, also saying things like, if I played one more year in Indy, I would have been in a Lakers uniform. Combined with the playoff meltdowns and getting the nickname Playoff P, an easy target to make fun of for his awful playoff games, the bubble a disaster, but the hate dwindled down after the 2021 postseason. John Wall, extremely ball dominant, never got past the second round with Washington. The media chatters about Wall's jealousy with other stars, like James Harden getting a 13-year $200 million deal with Adidas, from hating on Reggie Jackson, getting a 5-year $80 with Detroit, and having even issues with younger Bradley Beal getting a fatter contract, Otto Porter also getting heavy Benjamins. When Wall finally got his money, signed an insane 4-year extension, and making insane money after the injury, now an afterthought in the league, secretly has the worst contract in 2021. Many forget which team he's even on, doesn't play for the Rockets, waiting to be traded. The fact that a healthy Wall isn't playing for Houston shows what the franchise truly thinks of him. He's gotta get out of there and find a destination to produce reasonable minutes. Too talented to waste time not being on the court. The question is, who wants his contract at this point if not bought out? Dwight Howard, the former superstar, used to be loved during the late 2000s, dunk contest days, at his peak from 09 to 2011 with Orlando, but always criticized for not demanding the ball enough offensively, not getting more post touches, given his talent, passive aggressive, the awkward interview with Stan Van Gundy acting like a fool, couldn't handle the pressure in 2013 with LA, didn't work out with Houston, bounced from Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, even waived by Brooklyn, a journeyman since 2017, cringy attitude, became a headache, his best situation, a 1-year rental, 2 straight years of Howard on the same team, too much for teammates to handle, the goofy personality, whining, lack of mental toughness, and never truly having a dominant offensive game. Howard should have been the 28 and 15 guy in his prime, should have went down as a top 20 player, but the lack of effort and tendencies, just a few reasons why he's not on the top 75 list. Rajon Rondo, highly competitive, the hate between Ray Allen, who was in favor trading him for young point guard superstar Chris Paul after winning the title, rubbed him the wrong way, known for being a hothead, very calculated, obsessed studying films, the alpha attitude from not being one of the best after Boston headbutted with Rick Carlisle, a journeyman, great playoff player after his prime. Having similar personalities as CP, Rondo's attitude crosses the line at times. While young stars Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Luka Doncic. Not really much legit reasons to hate on yet. Booker's tendencies of complaining a lot. Doncic also shows frustrations with the refs early on. While Trae Young became a villain 2021 playoffs, also the way he sells calls leaning into his defenders. A master at the shortstop, makes many not able to stand him. At least the league has made an effort to eliminate offensive players initiating contact, very annoying for the opposing teams. Rudy Gobert was the most hated player for a month after mocking COVID in a press conference, becoming the first player to test positive. Everybody freaked out, a big mistake on his part. The league suspended 4 months. The year before, players took exception of Rudy crying after not being named an All-Star, received tons of backlash after the Clipper series, and winning 3 DPOY awards. Draymond Green, aggressive, vocal style, never stops talking, beloved by Golden State fans but hated by other teams, a breakout star, hated after mocking the Cavs, saying this:
Cavaliers? Nope. We won? Yeah. They suck? Yeah. We here? Yeah. They not? Nope.
The following year, kicking Steven Adams in the groin to getting it with LeBron suspended Game 5. His antics, a huge reason why the 73-win Warriors blew the 3-1 lead. Skyfall with a few others. The incident with former teammate Durant. Green's emotions at times a little too high. Kyle Lowry since his Raptor days around 2014 and 15, flopping to draw fouls. Many can't stand his style of play to get calls. A master at accelerating contact, which he benefited, combined with the postseason meltdowns before 2019, gave many reasons to dislike his game. While DeMar DeRozan, just those playoff meltdowns with Toronto, lack of defense, a lot of long twos, just underwhelming. His worst moment getting destroyed by LeBron's Cavs 2018, swept as the 1 seed, even benched by Dwayne Casey, a non-factor, nowadays more under the radar. Kristaps Porzingis, mostly hated by 99% of Knicks fans, demanded a trade. Many believe he took the easy way out, complained after not having a winning culture instead of building one. His older brother, who's also his agent, threatened KP go back to Real Madrid if the Knicks didn't trade him soon enough. Too inconsistent with Dallas, a name that could be in trade talks in 2022. While Jimmy Butler with the Timberwolves practice 2018, berailing teammates, went public, has the heart of the lion, saw what happened in Philly, left after under a year, found a home in Miami. D'Angelo Russell, the time his prank gone wrong, ruined Nick Young's relationship. One of the dumbest rookie moves all time. He's came a long way since. Blake Griffin, his feud with CP3 was hated during the 2013 playoffs against the physical Grizzlies. People questioned his toughness. Had that altercation with an equipment manager, now a role player, while Kevin Love got most of the blame after very bad performances during the LeBron days, ridiculed by most. Now he gets ridiculed for lack of production with the max contract. Other good players I didn't mention, simply too early in their careers to be hated by any sort, while Carmelo Anthony, super hated and super disrespected after 2014 for a good 5 years, was even out the league for a year before giving another shot. Thank you so much for watching this video. Which of these current or former stars received too much hate in your opinion? Let me know in the comments below. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, current NBA, and anything basketball that will interest you. If you want to gain more NBA knowledge and love the NBA, hit the subscribe button. I love all of you. See you next time.